Good evening, my name is Debbie. I'm a Live for Love TV subscriber on YouTube. It's a very informative channel, so when you have a spare moment, please like, share and subscribe. Live for Love TV. Thank you.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today is the 28th day of the 5th month of the 24th year inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing extremely well out there. Well, I think 3 to 4 years ago, people like myself, and maybe you, I'm not sure, would have been called a conspiracy theorist because we dared suggest that there was something going on in the medical field and that people were being forced to do things that they shouldn't be forced to do, that the actions that were taken were wrong, that lockdowns were wrong, that the government knew they were wrong, that the doctors and everybody knew it was wrong, and we were laughed out of the park, as they say. Well, over the last week in the UK, the biggest medical scandal to date has just been unveiled after a public inquiry. And guess what they found after 40 years? That people were being infected on purpose with HIV, AIDS and hepatitis C through blood, and they were warned, and government after government after government knew about it and covered it up, till eventually 40 plus years later they've come out with inquiry and it's been proven. No more a conspiracy, it's proven. Now it's just happened, remember, it's just come out a week ago, the actual conclusion. But it was going on for 40 years, government after government, doctor after doctor, treasury after treasury, the whole lot of them, civil servant after civil servant, admittedly, the inquiry says, covering the thing up, not just doing it, knowing about it, lying to public, and then covering it up. But yet, 4 years ago, when people like me said these were the kind of things that these people were doing, people looked at us and said, you're crazy. Why would they do something like that? How could they? You're talking about doctors and officials and government people. Why would they do something like that? That was only 3 or 4 years ago. People were saying that to people like myself. But they were doing that 37 years ago, continuously, up until last week, when it has been proven in a public inquiry that this is what they were doing. Everything that people like me were saying and more. Not with this particular case that happened 3 or 4 years ago, but with what was going on with the HIV and the hepatitis C scandal. And lying to people, telling people they didn't have something or they did have something, and then giving it to them and then using them as guinea pigs. Now, a lot of people wondered, and even people who know me very well wondered why I was so skeptical 3 or 4 years ago. Well, I read a book, and you can go and pick this book up. I read this book maybe 30 years ago. It was called Acres of Skin, and it was from 1951 to 1974 or 5, when doctors were experimenting in the US of A and a particular prison institution on people, giving them things that they shouldn't have been giving them, and experimenting on them, and then lying and telling them all sorts of stories. This went on until eventually it was busted. I forgot the name of the prison. You can go and look it up. It's called Acres of Skin. When I read that book, it was quite clear that these people had broken the Nuremberg trial, got away with it basically, but the Nuremberg trial came up with the kind of experiments they were going on with in Germany were disgusting, unethical and all that sort of stuff. Yet they were still doing these things in peacetime countries who claimed to be better than the Nazis and the Germans. They were doing things just like this. So when people talk about conspiracy theories, this that just came out last week, 7 days ago I think, proves that there was a conspiracy between all of the institutions that we claim are doing it again 3 or 4 years ago. They have a history of this, an absolute history of this, yeah? And so when people say we are conspiracy theorists, I don't understand why they use that as a dirty word, as if nobody conspires to do anything except maybe 2 or 3 guys on a corner that conspire to kill somebody. There are conspiracies all over the place. People conspire to do all manner of evil. And when you point to it, they say, well, you can't prove it. But if the only way to prove it is when you agree that it's happening, then how can anybody ever prove anything? That's what happened with this case, 40 years. It was unproven for 40 years, but everybody knew about it. Everybody in every department, the people who were affected by it, the families, the people who died, the families of the people who died, they all knew. But nobody could prove it because these people won't allow you to have any proof unless they say it's proof. So let's see what happens in the next few decades with this 3 or 4 years ago incident. And let's see if this becomes the most greatest controversy in the world, because I'm talking about something that happened just in the UK at the moment. Yeah, this was a UK inquiry, but now this one is a world inquiry. It's almost like this was a forerunner for what could happen. So all those people who think that people like me are just we're speaking without evidence. We know the character of these people. When you know the character of a man, just like you see somebody in court and you know his character and you catch him lying, the judge says, well, from there on point, nobody believes anything he says. Well, these people have been caught lying for so many times, hundreds and hundreds of years, and they keep getting away with it, and then they do it again, and then you've got people who you think should have some sense and some knowledge of themselves and knowledge of what's going on, telling you that you're talking absolute rubbish. Nothing could be further from the truth. And then it's proven again and again. And those people always go away and go quiet. Let's see what they have to say now. Take care. Live for Love TV.
Hello everybody, my name is Caleb and you're watching Live for Love TV. Like, share and subscribe. Thank you.